Yes, so when base meshes are too low, which for the last 2 weeks I've been saying we need to optimize, we need to reduce poly counts, and Adrian did exactly that, but he went so far that it was actually too low, which when I told him about it, he was like, oh, that doesn't compute. I thought we were trying to go low. So there is such thing as a too low, and I want to go over why. Yes, so this is Adrian's Adrian's on the endoskeleton team. This is apart from the robot team that is transitioning and becoming part of the endoskeleton. So Adrian has stepped up to model this, and it looks pretty good at first glance. And then I noticed that we are at 2 levels of viewport subdivision, and it's still looking blocky, which means it would need at least 3 levels to be perceived completely smooth. And so that's when I tabbed into edit mode and realized just how low the geometry was, which is to say that we've got a square cube shape that, when smoothed, does end up looking cylindrical-ish. It doesn't actually look perfect, and that's when I started to kind of notice, oops, let's just turn off our ref, that a smooth version of a cube is not perfectly round. And so this is a situation where it is a little too low res to accomplish the shape perfectly. And so what I'm going to do is apply 1 level of subdivision. All right, so we'll go down to 1 and we're going to apply it. This will give us enough geometry to make this round shape more properly round. Essentially, when it's too low, you don't have enough control over the mesh. And for our purposes, we're not trying to go N64 graphics low. We just want it to be optimal and still look great when close to the camera. All right, so by applying the first level, we solve the issue of the round shapes, but we have all these extra edge loops that are not important at all. Before I apply it, let's see. I want to do an experiment for if we apply it at a level, let me think about this. I said that for render, we would probably want it on a level 4. We would want this object on level 4. You can still see a little bit of faceting. Maybe not so much at 4. A little bit if you get too close. But let's apply it at 4, and then the version I modify will be at a level of 3, which is kind of the highest I want any of the levels to be. All right, so we'll apply it here, and it is 79,000 polygons. All right, so we'll start editing this. And ultimately, we will want it to render at level 3. And so we'll see what that poly count looks like. But when I apply at level 1, I can then start to remove really all the holding edges. I'm also going to convert to a bevel approach. All right, so I'm trying to remove every edge loop that's not affecting the silhouette. Like these edges are just holding this one. And so I can get rid of a lot of edges. Control X to dissolve them. Another benefit of applying at level 1 is you get perfectly quadded topology, and it's usually a little more uniform than if you did it by hand. All right, so I'm just gonna continue removing edges that we don't need. We don't need any holding edges within the base mesh. So that's why you see me removing all of those, which might contradict some of my courses. I don't know why I've never used this bevel modifier approach. I think in all my hard surface courses, I prefer to do it in the base mesh. I don't really know why in hindsight. I mean, it works, but it's a little too committal. You don't need to be that committed to the mesh when you can do it with the bevel modifier. So I'm just trying to get rid of every edge loop that's not critical to the shape. I should also re-implement the mirror modifier. Okay. So I have a couple options here. I can do this, and it's fine, but we could save more geometry if I remove this. I don't love how stretchy this is. Do we even need this at all? No, not really. I might be okay with that being a triangle. Oh yeah, so much we don't need. Oh, I do kind of need this. I want to maintain. I don't need this at all. I do need that. All right, that's fine. I'll keep this. We're getting a lot more optimal, so I can keep that. No big deal. All right, I need this geometry to maintain the circular shape. Okay, but we got all these that can be removed. Whew, that was a lot. Felt so good when it all can go away. Yeah, bevel modifier for the win. That is, I feel embarrassed that I've never used it this way before. And I call myself a professional modeler, like specializing in modeling. Okay, I think we're pretty clean. And now we can focus on the bevel mod. See a piece of problematic geometry, or at least it's just not quadded. I like to use control, hold control to connect, like snake along these edges is like shortest path. All right, add the bevel before, oh, so I think Dave, if you're in here, Dave asked about the bevel modifier not doing anything, not behaving the way he expected. And I think the issue, even though I do see the bevel modifier doing something, you know, changing the amount, it becomes very restricted. And I think the problem for me has always been the clamp overlap. Under geometry, clamp overlap is on by default, which I almost always turn that off to see the effect. That's what it's trying to protect you from. But to me, it's not hard to just find a better value, right? But your amount setting here becomes very restricted with that enabled. So just remember to turn that off. I think it should be off by default. But now that we've got it working and it's responsive, let's do 2 segments. If we look at the wireframe, we can kind of pick, maybe change the profile to be 1. All right, now let's see what this looks like smooth. I'll hit Control 2 in the viewport. Oh, so bevel is set to angle. Let's go to weight and then change the weight to 1. All right. Now, I was complaining about these shapes not being perfectly round, just Mahler's OCD, really. But we can correct that now if I guess we need to apply the mirror real quick, because I think this tool needs to have a full circle. So if we select a circular ring of edges, right click and go to Loop Tools, that is an add-on you'll need to enable. It's included with Blender by default. Loop Tools, enable that, and then when you right click in edit mode, Loop Tools, circle. And it works perfectly. No, it didn't that time. Right click, Loop Tools, circle. That's what I was expecting. All right, you see it just ever so slightly shifts. That's the kind of imperfection we're talking about. Might seem insignificant, but to me, it's worth doing because we're going to make that perfect. And also you're going to see that we're going to have less geometry for the equivalent number of subdivision levels. All right, so if I do that to everything else, Loop Tools, circle. I don't know why it didn't work here. Oh, I must not have had everything selected. Yeah, that's what it was. All right, we'll do the same thing on the bottom. All right, so they look basically the same. We're at 2 levels of subdivision. Can you see yeah, you can slightly see the polygonal faceting. So if we go to viewport level 3, they both look very clean. But remember, we applied level 1 to the base mesh, which means level 3 subdivision is the same as this level 4, which is where we applied it. So object, convert to mesh. All right, we're at 40,000 faces, and this is 80. So we cut it in half. That's kind of the sweet spot, right? It's a balance of what's too low and what's too high. It's not just a race to the bottom in terms of poly count. But by applying a level 1 subdivision, which seems like, you're increasing the base mesh resolution, which we are, but the shape is a little more perfect and it's more efficient. I thought that was an interesting example. There is a ton more insight from this project, 40 hours in fact. You can watch it all for free at cgcookie.com. Link in the description. Thanks for watching.